Most people think business is about numbers. They think it's about profit margins, market share, or strategy. But here's the truth: business is not about numbers. Business is about people. If you don't understand people, their fears, their motivations, their needs, you cannot possibly understand business. Because every decision, every purchase, every act of loyalty comes from a human being. And if you miss that, you miss everything. Imagine walking into a company where everything looks perfect from the outside. The logo is polished, the office space is modern, the strategy slides are impressive, and the numbers on the report show growth. But when you talk to the people inside, employees, customers, partners, you sense something is missing. The energy feels cold, interactions feel forced, and trust is nowhere to be found. That is the silent truth about business. It cannot survive on numbers alone. A company may appear successful for a moment, but without trust, it is standing on shaky ground. The foundation of every great business is not strategy, it is trust. Trust is not something you can buy with advertisements, nor can you manufacture it with clever marketing campaigns. Trust is built in the countless small moments between people. It happens when a leader listens rather than commands. It happens when a company keeps its promises, even when it's inconvenient or costly. It happens when an employee feels safe to speak up with ideas, or when a customer knows the business will stand behind its product no matter what. Without these consistent human gestures, business becomes nothing more than a transaction, and transactions alone are fragile. The moment a better offer comes along, loyalty disappears. Think about your own experiences. When you remain loyal to a brand, is it always because of the price or the features? Or is it because you trust them to treat you right? Most of us stick with companies not because they are the cheapest, but because they make us feel seen, valued, and understood. Trust is emotional, not logical. That is why two companies can sell the exact same product, but only one earns lasting loyalty. It is not about the product, it is about the relationship. The same is true inside organizations. Employees don't dedicate themselves because of a paycheck alone. They commit themselves when they trust the leaders, when they believe the company cares about their well-being, and when they feel their contributions matter. A workplace with high salaries but low trust will struggle with disengagement and turnover. On the other hand, a company with moderate resources but strong trust can unlock extraordinary commitment and creativity. Trust is what transforms a group of people into a team, and a team into a community. Leaders who underestimate this truth often fall into the trap of measuring success only through numbers, profits, revenues, efficiency. Those metrics matter, of course, but they are the results of trust, not the cause of it. Focusing only on the outcome while neglecting the foundation is like measuring the height of a tree while ignoring the health of its roots. The tree might grow for a while, but without strong roots it cannot withstand the storms. Trust is the root system of every enduring business. The most respected organizations in the world are the ones people trust. Their customers trust them to deliver quality and fairness. Their employees trust them to provide security and purpose. Their partners trust them to keep commitments. And because trust runs through everything they do, they don't have to fight for short-term loyalty. It is given to them freely. Trust multiplies influence. It accelerates decision-making, and it builds resilience during crisis. When mistakes happen, and they always do, trust is what gives people the patience to forgive and stay. Without it, even small missteps can cause collapse. Business is nothing without people, and people are nothing without trust. It is the invisible currency that determines whether an organization thrives or merely survives. When trust is present, growth feels natural. When trust is absent, even the best strategies fall apart. That is why business is not built on transactions. It is built on trust. When we think about why people choose a product, a service, or even a leader, we often assume it is because of the features, the quality, or the price. But the truth is far deeper. People are not drawn to what you do, they are drawn to why you do it. Every company in the world knows what they do. Some can even explain how they do it, but very few can clearly articulate why they exist beyond making money. And it is that why which captures hearts and builds loyalty. Consider Apple. They are not the only company that makes computers or phones, and in many cases their competitors offer more features or lower prices. Yet Apple enjoys one of the most loyal customer bases in the world. Why? Because they don't just sell electronics. They stand for challenging the status quo, for thinking differently, for empowering creativity. People don't buy Apple for the product alone. They buy Apple because they identify with the belief behind it. The product is proof of that belief, not the starting point. This is not just about business. It is about human nature. People crave meaning. They want to feel connected to something larger than themselves. When a company communicates only what they do, they engage the rational brain, which is good for processing facts and details. But when they communicate why they do it, they reach the part of the brain that governs feelings, loyalty, and decision-making. That is why you can explain a product logically to someone, and they may still hesitate. But if they feel aligned with your cause, they won't just buy once. They will buy again and again. The same truth applies in leadership. A leader who talks only about targets, quotas, or efficiencies may get compliance, but rarely gets commitment. A leader who shares why the work matters, who paints a vision that inspires people, creates followers who bring energy, creativity, and resilience to the cause. The why gives work meaning, and meaning is what drives effort beyond the bare minimum. People don't dedicate themselves to tasks, they dedicate themselves to beliefs. The danger for many businesses is that they start with clarity of purpose, but lose it as they grow. In the early days, passion and mission drive everything. But as the organization scales, focus shifts to quarterly results and short-term gains. The why becomes buried under layers of what and how. And when that happens, the company becomes just another option in a crowded marketplace. Customers no longer feel a bond, employees no longer feel inspired. The organization becomes transactional, and in a transactional world, there is always someone cheaper or faster. The bond of loyalty weakens. Great companies never forget their why. They weave it into everything: their hiring decisions, their customer interactions, their strategies. They don't simply say it in marketing campaigns, they live it consistently. That authenticity is what people recognize and reward with their loyalty. When people see that you believe in something beyond profit, they will support you not only when it is convenient, but also when it is difficult. Think about the brands, the movements, or even the leaders you personally admire. Chances are it's not because of what they offered, but because of what they stood for. They made you feel something. They reminded you of your own values, your own dreams, your own sense of identity. That emotional connection is far more powerful than any feature list. Products and services will always evolve, but a powerful why remains timeless. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And when they believe what you believe, they don't just become customers, they become advocates. They don't just become employees, they become ambassadors. The why is the heartbeat of every business, and without it, the organization is lifeless, no matter how impressive the numbers might look on paper. In every workplace, every negotiation, and every customer interaction, there is one element that determines whether the outcome builds connection or creates distance: empathy. Empathy is the ability to step into someone else's world, to see through their perspective, to understand not just what they say, but what they feel. In business, empathy is often overlooked in favor of efficiency, speed, and logic. Yet without empathy, no amount of strategy or innovation can create lasting success. Because at its core, business is human, and humans respond not to calculations, but to being understood. A leader who lacks empathy may command authority, but they will never inspire loyalty. Employees may show up, follow instructions, and deliver the minimum required, but they will not bring their hearts into the work. Contrast that with a leader who genuinely listens, who asks questions before giving orders, who shows care when someone struggles. That leader creates an environment where people feel safe, valued, and motivated to give their best. Empathy is not weakness. It is strength. It is what builds trust, and trust fuels performance. Consider customer relationships. A company that listens with empathy does more than sell a product. It solves a problem in a way that makes people feel cared for. When customers sense empathy, they feel seen. They feel like more than a transaction. This is why some businesses thrive even in competitive markets. Their empathy becomes their differentiator. They are not just selling shoes, phones, or services. They are delivering an experience that acknowledges the customer's emotions and desires. And that experience is what creates loyalty long after the sale is over. Inside organizations, empathy transforms culture. Workplaces are often filled with pressure, deadlines, and expectations. But when empathy is present, people know they are not alone in carrying the load. It means leaders notice when someone is overwhelmed and step in with support. It means colleagues check in on one another and build bonds beyond titles and tasks. Empathy creates resilience because it reminds people they are part of a community that cares. Without it, workplaces become cold, transactional environments where burnout and disengagement spread quickly. Empathy also drives innovation. When businesses truly understand people, not just what they buy but why they buy, they can anticipate needs before they are expressed. The most groundbreaking ideas often come from observing people's frustrations, struggles, and hopes. Empathy opens the door to seeing what others miss because it asks us to look deeper than the surface. Instead of asking, "How do we sell more?" empathy asks, "How do we serve better?" That shift changes everything. The challenge is that empathy takes time and intentionality. It means slowing down to listen instead of rushing to respond. It means suspending judgment long enough to understand. It requires humility because to empathize is to admit that someone else's perspective is just as valid as our own. In the fast pace of business, slowing down to connect can feel like a luxury, but in truth, it is the most powerful investment a leader or organization can make. The cost of ignoring empathy is far greater. Disconnected employees, dissatisfied customers, and missed opportunities for growth. Empathy is not about agreeing with everyone or removing accountability. It is about humanizing the relationship between leaders and teams, businesses and customers, colleagues and partners. When empathy is present, hard conversations become constructive instead of destructive. Conflicts become opportunities to understand instead of battles to win. And decisions take into account the human impact, not just the financial one. At the end of the day, success in business is not determined by how well we manage spreadsheets, but by how well we connect with people. Empathy is the foundation of those connections. It is the quiet strength that allows leaders to inspire, companies to innovate, and relationships to endure. Without empathy, business becomes mechanical and fragile. With it, business becomes human, and only then can it truly thrive. Loyalty in business is often misunderstood. Many companies believe they can buy loyalty with discounts, rewards programs, or special offers. While these tactics may create short-term spikes in sales, they do not build the deep, lasting loyalty that sustains a business through challenges. Real loyalty is not transactional, it is relational. It is the result of trust, connection, and shared values. Discounts may attract customers once, but relationships bring them back again and again, even when competitors offer something cheaper. Think about the brands you remain loyal to. Chances are it is not because they gave you the lowest price every time. Instead, it is because of how they made you feel. Perhaps it was the way their customer service treated you with respect, the way they remembered your preferences, or the way their mission aligned with your beliefs. These moments of human connection create emotional bonds, and those bonds are far stronger than any financial incentive. A discount can be matched or beaten by another company. A relationship cannot. The same applies to employees. Leaders sometimes assume that higher pay alone will guarantee commitment. But just like customers, employees are loyal not to money, but to relationships. They commit themselves to leaders who care about them, who listen, who provide opportunities for growth, and who recognize their efforts. A paycheck can buy compliance, but it cannot buy dedication. Dedication comes from trust and respect, and those are earned only through genuine human connection. Loyalty also thrives in transparency. When a company is honest, even about its mistakes, it strengthens the relationship with its people. Customers understand that no business is perfect, but what they value is accountability. When a company admits an error, fixes it, and treats people fairly in the process, loyalty grows stronger rather than weaker. The same is true in leadership. Employees are far more likely to remain loyal to a leader who owns mistakes and learns from them than to one who pretends to be flawless. Honesty builds credibility, and credibility strengthens bonds. Another misconception is that loyalty is built during times of prosperity. In reality, loyalty is most often forged during difficult times. When a company stands by its customers through hardship, or when leaders protect their people during crisis, those moments leave a lasting impact. Loyalty grows when people see that the relationship is valued beyond profit or convenience. That is when trust becomes unshakable. Competitors may offer lower prices or flashier deals, but nothing can replace the feeling of being valued in tough times. It is also important to recognize that loyalty is reciprocal. Businesses that expect loyalty from customers or employees must first demonstrate loyalty to them. That might mean investing in customer experiences rather than cutting corners for profit. It might mean supporting employees well, being even when it requires sacrifice. Loyalty cannot be demanded, it must be earned, and it is earned through consistent actions that prove people matter more than transactions. The businesses that thrive for decades understand this truth. They focus less on chasing quick wins through promotions and more on nurturing lasting relationships. They know that when customers feel understood and employees feel valued, loyalty follows naturally. And loyalty is powerful. It means customers will forgive occasional mistakes. It means employees will stay and grow even when offered higher salaries elsewhere. It means people will become advocates who spread positive word of mouth, something no marketing budget can buy. Loyalty is not a product of discounts or perks. It is the outcome of respect, trust, and care. It is built not in the promotions you run, but in the relationships you cultivate. A discount may win a customer's wallet, but only a relationship can win their heart. And once you have that, you have something no competitor can take away. Every organization talks about culture, but few truly understand what shapes it. Culture is not defined by the slogans on the wall or the perks in the office. It is defined by how people feel when they show up to work every day. Do they feel valued, inspired, and connected to something larger than themselves? Or do they feel like cogs in a machine, replaceable and unseen? The difference comes down to whether leaders and businesses truly understand people. When people feel understood, culture transforms from a set of rules into a living, breathing force driven by purpose. Understanding people begins with recognizing that every individual wants to matter. Employees don't just want to trade hours for a paycheck, they want to know their contributions mean something. Customers don't just want products, they want experiences that reflect their values and aspirations. When businesses pay attention to these human truths, they create cultures that go beyond transactions. They build environments where purpose is the driving force, not just profit. A purpose-driven culture starts with listening. Leaders who take time to hear their people, what motivates them, what frustrates them, what excites them, can align the company's goals with human needs. This alignment creates energy and commitment. People are willing to work harder, stay longer, and give more of themselves when they feel they are part of something meaningful. Purpose gives work context. It transforms tasks from obligations into contributions toward a vision that matters. Look at organizations admired across the world. They are not celebrated simply because of what they sell, but because of what they stand for. Whether it is advancing innovation, protecting the environment, or improving lives, these companies infuse their culture with purpose. Employees in these organizations don't just work for a paycheck. They work for a cause. Customers don't just buy products. They support a mission. That bond exists because the company took the time to understand what people truly value. Purpose-driven cultures are also resilient. In times of uncertainty, companies without a deeper reason for existing often struggle. Employees lose motivation, customers lose interest, and the organization drifts. But when people are connected by a shared purpose, they pull together in the face of adversity. They adapt, they innovate, and they remain committed because they believe in something greater than the circumstances. Understanding people well enough to anchor culture in purpose provides stability no spreadsheet or strategy alone can guarantee. The challenge is that building such a culture requires more than words. It requires consistent actions that prove the organization cares. It requires leaders who model empathy, fairness, and integrity. It requires celebrating not only financial success, but also the impact on people's lives. When employees see that the organization consistently prioritizes purpose alongside profit, they begin to internalize it. Over time, it shapes behavior, decision-making, and relationships in ways no policy ever could. For customers, the effect is equally powerful. People today are more aware and more selective. They want to support companies that align with their values. A business that understands this truth and reflects it in its culture creates advocates rather than one-time buyers. Customers are not loyal to a product, they are loyal to what the product represents. That representation is born from culture, and culture is born from understanding people. At the heart of every thriving culture is a simple principle: people want to be seen and valued. They want to believe their time, energy, and loyalty are contributing to something meaningful. When leaders recognize and honor this, they unleash a force more powerful than any incentive plan or strategy, a culture driven by purpose. That culture attracts talent, inspires innovation, builds trust, and endures long after individual leaders or products come and go. Many organizations make the mistake of putting profits first, believing that financial success is the ultimate measure of achievement. But in reality, profit is a result, not a purpose. When businesses chase numbers at the expense of people, they may win in the short term, but they inevitably lose trust, loyalty, and long-term stability. The paradox of business is that when you stop obsessing over profits and start prioritizing people, employees, customers, partners, profits follow naturally. Employees who feel valued and supported are more engaged, more productive, and more creative. They don't just clock in and out, they bring energy and ideas that fuel growth. When leaders invest in their people through development, recognition, and genuine care, the return on that investment is multiplied. The workplace becomes a space where innovation thrives, collaboration strengthens, and performance rises. It is not because people are being forced to deliver more. It is because they want to. Their sense of belonging and purpose drives them to contribute in ways money alone cannot buy. Customers respond the same way. They can tell when a company truly cares about them versus when it only cares about their wallets. A business that prioritizes people listens to feedback, honors commitments, and treats customers as human beings rather than numbers in a database. That experience creates trust, and trust leads to loyalty. Loyal customers return even when cheaper alternatives are available. They become advocates, spreading word of mouth that no advertising campaign can replicate. In the end, prioritizing people creates a cycle where customers give more than they take and businesses grow because of it. Consider the opposite scenario. A company that places profits above people often cuts corners on quality, on customer service, on employee well-being. At first, the financial statements may look good. Costs are down, margins are up. But over time, the damage shows. Customers lose faith, employees burn out, and turnover increases. Soon, the very profits that were prioritized begin to erode. By then, rebuilding trust is far more expensive than the short-term gains were ever worth. Prioritizing people is not only the right thing to do, it is also the smarter, more sustainable business strategy. History shows us countless examples of organizations that thrive because they put people first. Leaders who protect their employees during hard times often find those same employees giving back tenfold when conditions improve. Companies that prioritize customer well-being over immediate revenue often gain lifelong supporters. These businesses understand that people are not just a means to an end, they are the reason the business exists at all. Without people, there is no product to sell, no service to deliver, no profit to earn. Prioritizing people also means building cultures of respect and inclusion. When individuals feel safe to express themselves and contribute, they bring diverse perspectives that drive innovation. When they feel excluded or undervalued, potential is wasted. By creating environments where everyone feels they belong, organizations unlock talent that directly impacts growth. The link between human well-being and business success is undeniable. Profits are essential, of course, but they are the outcome of doing the right things consistently. They are the scorecard of how well a company has served its people, both inside and outside its walls. The mistake is treating profits as the goal rather than the result. Businesses that understand this shift their focus to relationships, trust, and value creation. And in doing so, they discover that financial success comes more easily and endures far longer than if it had been pursued directly. At the end of the day, the equation is simple. When you take care of people, they take care of your business. When you prioritize their needs, honor their trust, and support their growth, they reward you with commitment, loyalty, and performance. Profits are not the target. They are the natural byproduct of putting people first.